Okay, so welcome back. What we're doing today is we're going to be studying about 2D arrays. Okay? Last class we did 1D arrays. And just a little refresher, I'm going to take up our homework. It says create a list of 5 fruits. Print the fruits using a loop. Add a new fruit to the last and print it. Okay, so homework number 1. Level 1 was a 1D array. And we need to have fruits. Okay, fruits. And it's an array. And then how many do we need to have there, Wendy? How many fruit do we need for the homework? How many fruit do we need to have? 5? So I'm going to put apple, banana, orange, peach, and plum. Okay? I'm going to print the fruits. Do we call it fruits? Or we just call it fruit? Uma, is it plural or singular? I think we just call it fruit. Right? Fruit is plural and singular. We don't go fruits. That's like sheep and sheeps. It doesn't make sense, right? You can say fruits? No. Fruits? You just call fruit. We'll have to Google that. Can you Google, is fruit plural or singular? I'm not an English teacher, but now you really got me thinking. Is fruit plural or singular? Can it be singular? Can fruit be fruits? Okay. The plural of fruit is fruits. Okay. Fruits. I'm wrong. Good thing I don't teach English. Okay, fruits. And then what we needed to do is print each fruit using a loop. We have to use a loop. So we just go for I in, it's going to say fruits. Let me see if this works. Print, print fruits, and then I'm going to say I. What this is going to do is this is a for loop, and it's just going to, I think that this is going to work because usually you don't have to declare how many items. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in Python, we need to tell it what it is. Okay. So what you have to do is going to tell the length of the fruits. And then I believe I have to -1. Okay. The reason why I put length is just going to tell me the length of the, it's going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But why do I have to put -1 here then, Wendy? Can you briefly explain? Why do I have to -1 if I do this? Yeah, it's going to be out of the range because we start counting at 0. In pseudocode, do I have to -1 here there, Uma? If this was like a pseudocode and I did a length, would I have to -1 for pseudocode? No. It's because pseudocode counts at 1, right? So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so you don't need a -1. So let me have a run here. Int, okay, it didn't know what this was. Let me fix this. Oh, I'm really dumb. And we need to have brackets in here. +1 for Wendy. Oh, there we go. Apple, banana. Oh, hey. What? No -1. There we go. Apple, banana, orange, peach, plum. Okay. And then the next thing it says, add a new fruit to the list and print the updated list. So what I can do is I'm going to change fruits, and I'm going to change one item. Which one do you want to change there, Uma? Which item? Orange. What index number is orange there, Ched? Orange is Shama Wager. What location? Yes. And then Wendy, give me a new fruit. Grape. Right, I'm gonna run and let's see if it works. There we go. We got grapes. Okay.
Sir, I'm seeing that as the arrow equals 3 times. I'm going the same thing with you. Why?
I'll have to have a look at it later. But look, Chinshu, it usually tells you an error. For example, if I'm missing a bracket, let's see. It will usually tell the line. Okay, and then you have to look carefully. Okay. Usually, for example, let's say I forgot this right here and I hit run. If you get an error, let me get a syntax error and show you. It says right here, we have line 7, right? And so what you're going to do is you're going to count down your thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means we had a total here. And then I can fix it. So when you're dealing with syntax error, you look at the line and then you look at the type. It says grape is not defined. Okay, that was a variable. It didn't know what that variable was. And so I fixed it by making it into a string, not a variable. So you just have to look carefully. Okay. And then what we do is we copy. Windows Shift S is cut the screen. And this is the example for level 1. Level 1, 1D arrays. Okay? Using a loop goes through that. Level 2, create a list of 10 numbers, find and print the largest number and the sum. Okay, that should be easy. Number 2, we need to have 10 numbers and we need to find the max and sum. Okay? So I have numbers is equal to, okay. I just randomly threw in some stuff there, okay? I don't know how many I got. How can I find the max number? Uma? How can you find I have some numbers here. How can I determine the max number? Yeah. So just a reminder, we cannot use, there's probably actually a function that you can find the max, but we can't use functions for here. We have to use a loop. So what we can do is we're going to have to do a math, we have to make a loop and go through this, and we're just going to compare. I'm going to actually put the biggest number is 300, okay? So we know the answer is going to be 300. Agree or disagree? Ted? Is 300 the biggest number? So what we're going to do is I'm going to make a variable and I'm going to compare this guy to this guy. If it's bigger, put it in the variable max. Okay? So what we're going to do is have a loop for I in range. Okay? In the range numbers. So this is going to go through that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have if the next item, if numbers, and currently the index number I starts at 0. It goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? So the index number goes from 0 to 7. Right? This is the index number. And so what I'm going to do is if numbers I, just to make it more so that you guys can understand it better, if the very first number in the range in my array, if it's bigger than the next number, this is going to add 1. So that's going to be comparing to this guy. If this is true, I'm going to say that the max number, max num, is going to be equal to this guy right here. Agree or disagree? Right? And so what I'm doing is I'm just comparing 2 at a time. If this is true, the max num is going to be that. Okay? And I'm just going to print my max num outside my loop. I'm going to see, it should say 3. It should say 3. I'm going to see if it's going to work. I am missing an indent. This is the wrong indentation. Let's have a run. Unexpected indent. What? Oh, I'm so stupid. I thought this was a loop in a loop. Yeah, indentation error. We didn't have to have the indent. I thought this was a loop up here, but the 4 should be at the leftmost line. Okay, that's why it gave me an indentation error. List. Okay, I in range numbers. So you want to have a length. So I'm just going to go len, and that's going to determine that I have 8 items. So I hit run. I'm going to put a double bracket. And I get 3. Is 3 bigger than 1? Yes or no? Yeah. So this does work. And then what I'm going to do is iterate every time. I'm going to go to the next one. And so instead of using 0 and 1, Wendy, what am I going to change this code so that it can iterate through this? Right now, I'm comparing 0 and 1. I don't want to use these indexed numbers. What do I want to change these to? Right now, I'm just comparing these guys, but I want to then compare these two. And then I want to compare these two. Then I want to compare these two, and so on. So without using numbers, I want to use a variable. What variable can I use? Yeah. So what we're going to do is, since this is a range from 0 to 7, I'm just going to say I, and then this is going to be I plus 1. And this is going to be I. Okay? So let's have a try, and it should say 300. It may get outside my range. I'm just going to double check. Let's have a run. It's out of range. And so what I need to do is reduce this by 1. I need to reduce this by 1 comparator. So I have to minus 1 right here, because as I compared the last one, it was comparing to something outside my index range. So I had to decrease the number of items by 1. Let me have a look. What? It says 34. If this is bigger than this, max number, Who can find the bug in the code? It said that 34 is my biggest one. If this is bigger than the next item, it should update my max num. Why did it give me 34? Maybe I have double 34. Let me just change this. I'm going to hit run. Why does it give me 34? So we have this, then we increment. We have this. Okay, I know. This is only testing one number. If this number is bigger, if not, the other number could be bigger, right? So we need to have one more if statement, okay? If this is not true, Okay, I updated the max number. I need to have an and in here. If this number is bigger than that, and it has to be bigger than my max num. Okay? I know how to figure it. Did anyone figure out why? Can anyone see the bug in the code? What I did is I compared these two and I said, hey, if the first guy is bigger than the second guy, he's the max number. Then I compared him. But I forgot what would happen if there was a bigger guy that was max number when I'm comparing these smaller numbers. And so I need to include my max number in this algorithm to say, hey, if I'm comparing two numbers and it's not, and they're both smaller than my original max number, then I'm not going to update the max number. Does that make sense, Uma? So in here, if the number is bigger than that, and I need to put an and in here, and my max number is less than those two numbers. There's probably another way of doing this, but I'm just going to dumbify it. And max number is less than I plus 1. Okay, let's see if this works. Max num wasn't defined. Max num, we're going to put here, max num is equal to 0. Okay, I'm going to run this, and we get 300. Okay, the reason why I put and here is because when I compare these two bad guys, and I have found the biggest number, 300, and I compare these two guys, don't update it because I already have a bigger number in that list. So that worked. Okay. Uma, how did you do it? Did you do it a different way? How did you do it? Okay, let me have a look. Oh, we did the cheating way. We can't do this. Whoops. So in this way, this is using a function. Okay. But we actually have to do manual. Okay. So we'll have to double check. You have to actually iterate through each one. Wendy, did you figure it out? Let me have a look. So we have 10 numbers, the sum. Oh, this does the sum, but it didn't find max. Okay. In here? Oh, this is using function as well. Please, we can't use function. Okay. Function is too easy. Function doesn't work. Okay. You have to make the function. So, here's an example how to do it. Okay. Can you guys update your code? I'll give you some 时间. Okay. I'm going to pause my recording. So, yes, this does work, but there's actually a better way. And a better way is to say, if the number, sorry, if I'm just going to right here put if my current number, I just think I should put it in here. If my current number is bigger than my max number, I'm going to update. Then my max number max num is equal to numbers I. And then I don't need this this and function. I don't need this and function. This is going to simplify it down. Okay. I think the max num should be equal to the very first item in my list to begin with. I think that's a better thing to do. So I'm just going to start right here. Instead of saying it's 0, I'm just going to assume that this is going to be my max num right at the get-go. And then if, okay, let's see if this works. We should get 300. Oh, I got 34 again. Let me have a look. Where did you declare it? Max num is equal to number 0. Uma, in your code, you declared it at the very beginning, right? Let's have a look. So we have first declared it. Good. If the number is greater than largest, largest is the max num. The largest is equal to that. Yeah. If the thing is bigger than the, instead of doing this, I see, we're not iterating through each one. We're just going to say max num. Okay. If it's bigger than the max number, max num is equal to number I. Okay, let's have a run, and then we'll just verify that everything is going, and we get 300 there. Okay, so this one is, we're not going to compare between each one. What we're doing is we're just comparing the next item to a max number. That's a much better algorithm. Very cool. Okay, so do copy that and throw it in there. Just a reminder on the things we can't use the max or minimum functions. We actually have to create it. Oh my goodness. We didn't have time to go into the 2D array.
So I didn't know what's happening. I'm doing the same thing with you while you.
I'll have a look. Okay, your homework task is, I want you to have a try with 2D array. A 2D array is very similar, but what we do is we have rows and columns. I'm just going to make a little, like a computer game, right? What happens is you have a 1D array like this, and it's like a grid, okay, with a comma in between. This is a 2D array. And your homework task is to make a little character there. Let me just, I'm just going to call this as a map. Okay. And I want you to make a little number that if I use the keyboard, he walks around the map. Okay. They're Wendy and Ched and Uma. This is basically your task is level 4. Make a number move around a 2D array. Okay? So if I press up, he's going to move boop, 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 inside a 2D array. I will take this up next class. Okay? About 2D array. We kind of got stuck in making the functions there. But just make a simple, you can have a look at the PowerPoint. Okay? If you get stuck, tomorrow I'll show it, but you need to have a try it, okay? 2D arrays uses a brackets and they use comma between each of the items in the list. Cool? So they have an outside bracket like this and like that. Just a small map like this.
With what you write as the beginning, now one as before.
You just make some zeros and have a 3 move around. Just like that. Yep.
Yeah,